that we're playing vampire. I've streamed making my character. I just have not talked about who the cast is.
Cast reveals on Thursday.
We were all making our characters.
I told Mike I was going to do mine in advance so I can help out you guys based off of like how much help is needed so we can get it all done in that time frame. Because sometimes making a character can take like 7 hours if you don't.
Oh, I forgot to unmute my microphone and let you guys know we're going live. Whoops. Hey, we're live, everybody. What's up?
God fucking damn it.
Oh my god.
How's it going? I'm like, why are they not responding to anything I'm saying? I don't understand.
Gotta give us more heads up.
I thought I did. That's why I was like, all right, we're going live. And I didn't know my mic was muted.
Ago, I was 3 knuckles deep. You know what I'm saying? I had one that was like really stuck in there. And then, yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks.
As a cast reveal on Thursday, everybody, but that's about it. Everybody knows what we're playing. Shall we?
We know what's playing. We're playing vampire, but we haven't said who's playing.
The title of the show hasn't been announced. The cast hasn't been announced. That's all.
Well, because what's happening is I'm playing one character over in one camera, and then I take my shirt off and I play another character on another camera, right? Yeah, and then that's where I'm going to stop that.
Off camera.
I mean, it's one of those like I spin and take it off.
Wait, actually, can you take your shirt off now in the new rules, or do they still? Because I feel like there's still lots of boob camera stuff happening, and I thought the goal was to avoid that.
And Twitch did the IRL section of Twitch is just softcore pornography.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I thought there was some.
Also,
rules.
they got rid of like the shirtless rule, but then they put it back in for dudes. So like now guys can just be shirtless on Twitch IRL.
Okay. Well.
But can you be shirtless in other parts of Twitch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can I be shirtless right now?
Yeah, you could be shirtless right now. You actually could, yeah.
About damn time.
I honestly thought Bear was. I was like, yeah. Wait, why am I cheering this? Okay, where were we? Less important things. Dungeons and Dragons.
Correct.
Okay. Every time I drink from a mug, I always feel like, can you go ahead and come in on Saturday?
Oh yeah. One bird.
What does your mug say?
It says, "Beware the smiling dungeon master."
You're such a fucking.
It was a gift. It was a gift from Erin because we did 21
Makes
weeks,
sense.
and she was like, "Happy 21 weeks." I thought it was a weird number to celebrate, but she did and got it.
No,
for me.
really, what she's saying is she knows when you're up to no good.
Of course she does. She actually knows me better as a DM than even this clown does because she is a DM. So.
Oh, he called you a clown, dude. That's fucking.
That's tame. It's fine.
Well, I figured that'd be nice. All right. So, anyways, let's go. D&D. So, pulling the camera back over to Mathis. You are riding and running and jumping, trying to get there as quickly as you can, pulling the camera back over to Sam. You see a strange thing riding past you quicker than you would expect because most things around you move slowly. But there's something riding past you quicker than you're moving. It's actually kind of surprising how quickly it moves. Could you make me a perception check?
Mm-hmm.
I just totally had a BLA, sorry. So yummy. Bacon, lettuce, and avocado.
Fucking
All right,
millennials
perception-
and your avocado toast.
Listen, okay? My daughter's first food ever was avocado, and I don't know what avocado toast is.
You
but I
are
love
a
avocado.
millennial.
Just like
I am.
avocado on
I'm
toast.
in my
Avocado is
early
when you
30s.
put avocado
It's
on toast,
exactly-
my dude.
Yeah, exactly
Oh,
what
you put butter on toast.
Yeah, but this is when you put avocado on toast.
Can you put both?
Because instead of saving for a house, you're.
Yes,
Then put
you
avocado.
can.
Don't blow
You
his
can't
mind,
put both.
Sam. You can't blow his mind.
But I have a house.
I'm just saying, millennials are blowing all their money on avocado toast and not buying houses. It was an article. It was an article.
This sounds like Fox News, Mike. It sounds like Fox News. Let's get to more important things. So DC 14, you actually see, because it's not like it's coming past you like a speeding bullet. You actually see Thunk riding past you on this strange creature. So again, in the shadow plane, most things are very dull in their color compared to everywhere else. This is a vibrant purplish, almost looks like a wolf. No, it's a warg that he's riding on. A large horse-sized warg that Thong is sitting on and riding past you rather quickly. making his way towards a direction that, shit, that must be where I'm supposed to go. You're totally turned around heading the wrong direction. Oh, you probably should follow Thonk. And you see him riding that way extremely fast. It's funny because as you see this thing happening, as you see this warg come past you, the warg seems to notice you as you notice them. Obviously, Thonk does not. He can't perceive that you're there. Okay. And so you turn and start following after Thonk. Do you choose to, I mean, you've been traveling for a long while. Do you choose to pick up the pace to a jog or a run, or do you just continue traveling at a walk because you're going to get there quickly either way?
I mean, I don't feel tired at all, so.
That's true. It will hit you later. But for now, you're fine.
I'll probably do a little run for a bit.
Okay, so you go dashing after Thonk as he's running on the steed.
More of a jog than a dash.
You go jogging after Thonk as he's riding on this steed, making your way towards wherever the flippity flop he's going. So you, Thonk, make your way to the town. You get there after sunset. Oh God. You finally get there, finished up everything you needed to do in the morning, hopped on this thing, went riding as fast as you could, trying to get to the town so you can make your meeting, and you finally do so. You finally get there. You are thirsty. You can quick sips or whatever from your water skin, but no time to stop for food or anything. Maybe you toss a couple of crackers in your mouth and chomp as you go, but you have no time to rest or relax before you get to this meeting, and you are going to arrive to meet up with him a bit damp.
All right. Damp.
Perspiration.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
So you go and meet with him, and the person that you're meeting with's name is... I'm going to ask Bear, who has a mouthful of yummies. Sorry. Yummy. What was the guy's name? It wasn't Steve. It wasn't the terrible name.
Dude, I don't know. I don't remember his name.
His name certainly isn't Theon. Ugh.
Which one was it? One of the sons?
No, it was the captain of the guard. Oh God, I'm so bad with names. And I'm not in Twitch chat. I'm intentionally not in Twitch chat, so they can't help me. Whatever the captain of the guard's name is, Talik. Thank you, Talik. There we go. So Talik. So you go in to meet with Talik. So Talik goes to meet with you. You were meeting at his place, and his barracks or whatever, where his office is. And he will actually, when you get there and you arrive, barely on time, he will actually be outside waiting for you, standing there straight backed and in proper uniform and whatnot, waiting for you to arrive. I imagine just outside of town, you'll lose the warg and make your way through town at a hasted pace. You would have to do like that whole walk, jog, walk, jog to try to make sure that you get there. But when you actually come around the corner to meet up with him, are you clearly rushing to meet up with him? Or are you slightly out of breath and walking to meet up with him?
I'll give myself the walk. I'll catch my breath a bit.
I will allow you to make me a Constitution save.
Save? Sure.
Save, yes. DC 13. Okay, you fail. So can you make me a deception check with disadvantage to try to disguise exactly how out of breath you are to make it here?
Deception, not so good.
Disadvantage.
Oh, yeah, I know. 12.
Okay. I mean, you think you're doing a good job. We'll see whether or not that's true. So you go walking up to the gentleman to meet with him. He looks at you. You guys have never met before, but he's seen you before. You've seen him before. You know of each other by reputation. He looks at you and says, Thonk.
Talik.
Please, come in.
And I'll follow his lead.
He'll turn, he'll open the door. He'll actually be polite enough to allow you to walk in first, follow in immediately after you, shutting the door, and then walk straight back to his office, not saying a word. There he walks into his office, leaves it open as he walks in, not holding it for you, expecting you to shut it behind you, as he goes over to his desk, and he'll sit down.
I'll give it a second, and then I will in turn sit.
Okay, you guys sit. There's silence for a second and a half. It clears his throat and gesture over to a small bar that he has nearby.
I raise my hand, like politely declining.
One of the things that you notice about that bar being extremely receptive is that it is poorly stocked. And then judging by the looks of it, there's no dust. The place is well kept. But judging by the looks of it, it's not poorly stocked because it blows through that shit. You know what I'm saying? because he probably just almost never uses it.
Gotcha.
So he does gesture over to it. It is poorly stocked. You wave your hand saying no. He nods to that. Make me an insight check, please.
18.
You can see that he's appreciative of the fact that you said no. And he immediately gets kind of like down into business. Starting with the very quick pleasantries, he says, you've, I hear good things about you, Thunk.
I'll nod and say, I'm pleased to hear that the word of me is pleasant.
So you were here for reasons. There are concerns around town. You know of the incident that happened with the humans because you were the one yourself with the guards, because you were the one yourself that's brought the guards to be brought in. Now, I'm not an idiot. I know that you were supposed to meet with those guards.
I was.
Prior to the incident happening. Tell me, how did that play out?
You know how it played out. I was running late, dealing with business. And then when I arrived, there was a fight going on, so cowardly, I hid. And I waited.
You don't seem like the type to hide.
Do I look like a man of fighting stature? I'm a man of the cloth.
Usually men of your cloth.
That's quite the stereotype you lay upon me.
Roll me a deception check now.
Wait, hold up. That's all truth. I did hide.
Yeah, but you did lie about why you were there and so on and so forth. Roll me a deception check now. You yourself have laid enough groundwork that it's not with disadvantage. You were able to bring it. But then Otto's efforts and the way that he was able to work things out last session has actually given you the benefit of the doubt here. So you're actually going to be able to roll this deception with advantage.
Thanks, Otto. Thank God I'm not trained in deception. 15. It's all right.
So he, after you kind of finish that, he thinks about it for a moment or two, and then he nods and says, I figured as much. Not necessarily that you were a coward of combat, but that you wouldn't be involved in this. It doesn't seem like something that you'd be involved in, considering your reputation with my men. You're known well amongst them. They speak well of you.
They're good men.
You seem to have much stake in what's going to transpire. Otto came and spoke of your concerns and how you feel about this. He came and told me of the concerns that you have of the orcs and what they plan to do. That you were able to hear things because of your nature. Sorry for the stereotype. I need to know who you are.
I'm only half the breed that you place me in. The orcs that you're dealing with are full-blooded, and they can be hot-headed. When they want something, they'll take it. And if they don't get it, they'll get it aggressively, or at least they'll attempt to. That's my fear.
Sam, you saw the horse finally disappear, and then Thonk at a semi-hasted pace was walking through town. Now, finally, he was a good distance ahead of you, but you can easily keep up with him now because this semi-hasted pace is not going to be able to keep up with your job. No question. Do you continue to follow Thunk?
Yeah.
Okay. He says, after you finish that, he nods.
You can hear the whole conversation, right?
You are not. This conversation isn't happening yet. This is Thunk just getting out of his horse, off of his horse right outside town. He nods and says, "You. How much do you know of the plan? How much do you know of my commitment to this?"
I've not had much time to speak with Otto over the past couple of days, so very little.
You've been indisposed. Why?
I've been keeping an eye on the orcs and the slums. What do they call it? The slums? The shanty town?
Snowtown.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but they tend to frequent that area for one reason or another, and I'm keeping my eye on them. I don't trust them. Is
that why you're out of breath?
It's quite a walk, especially to get somewhere I'm on time. I pride myself in breaking the stereotype that my people have. I'm learned.
You are. The orcs are aggressive, as has been made, as I've been made aware of. The orcs are aggressive, and we're concerned that they're going to attack town. Now, I'm no fool. I think what happens out in the pasture, I think it was an accident. However, I think it's an accident that could escalate if it is handled poorly. There was concern coming from you and your friends that they are already looking to escalate this for one reason or another, and that I need to defend myself. I have been defending myself in my town, much to the ill advisement of those underneath me, for some time now, because I think that it can escalate if it goes poorly. Now, Otto had suggested, and we had come together for a bit of a scheme for us to truly be able to see the orcs. You see, for me to understand them for what they are, for why they're here, I need to see the white of their eyes. I need to peer into their souls and see their purpose. I cannot just give order to have them killed just because of their kind. I cannot have order just to have them killed because I think a problem might happen. That's not how we do things here. That's not how I do things myself. The city found some time ago, this is confidential.
I'll nod.
The city has found some time ago a vein. It's inside of a cave. It's conveniently easy to hide. The city some time ago has found a vein of gold, and we've hidden it because in accordance to the way that this gold rush has been handled, any veins of gold that are found are supposed to be open. Nobody can own them. Everybody can mine them. What you find, you keep. What you take is yours. Guards patrol it to make sure no violence comes out. There are skirmishes here and there, little bits of disagreements, but for the most part, things have been handled well. The city has found this mine, and we've kept it quiet so that when things change, when we can lay ownership, we can keep it to ourselves and have the city itself prosper directly from the veins found, as opposed to just indirectly from the commerce that has been boosted from this situation, right? The idea is that we will leak this information to the orcs and have them running there to see what they can do, because that apparently is what they're interested in. Have them see what they can find, see what they want to do with this, and I can observe them and see what their true purpose is. If their purpose is just to find gold, I will gladly hand off these ill-gotten riches to them to have peace. But if their goal here is war, then if need be, I will lay every one of them to their graves, and I will send every one of them to their lord.
Time to go spelunking.
Thong sits there and kind of like thinks about it, ruminates on it for a minute.
While you think about that,
Yeah.
Rye, Sam,
Mm-hmm.
you followed him long enough that you saw him meet with somebody outside of a building. You're not sure what this building is. It looks rather hardy, whatever the case may be. You haven't really had time to take in the effects of this town. They're walking into this building. He's holding the door for Thonk. You finally caught up to him as he himself is walking through the door. Do you follow him behind him, remaining in the plane of shadow, or do you stop here?
I follow.
You see that they walk through to another, through like a hallway and everything, and through into another room where there is an office. They're inside the office and they're having a conversation. The problem with this conversation, if you choose to just sit there and listen, is that it's not easy to listen to. To try to draw an easy visual for you, you have to think of the plane of shadow somewhat like you have to think of how, what's his name, Raziel would enter his own alternate plane in the... what's the name of that game?
Soul Reaver.
Soul Reaver, thank you. Legacy of Kain series Soul Reaver. How it's like
Stuff sounds like it's underwater almost.
yes, it's very difficult to follow all the words and whatnot. The fact that that orc before was able to speak to you as clearly as he was with that eye and everything, clearly he's kind of like trained in this, but it's very difficult to understand what they're saying. Not that you can't. Would you choose to continue listening to them to the best of your ability, or would you choose to re-enter the material plane and join the conversation?
Keep listening. Is there like, can I just like look at the desk and stuff? Is there
Sure.
any text on the table that would help me understand the situation?
So you can clearly tell. Roll me an investigation check with disadvantage, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So it's very difficult to tell because even though you can read any language, letters themselves are not clearly transferred over into the shadow plane. It's not like they're very obvious in a word that you can make out and read. The images of, like, say, a little statuette that might be, let's say it's a proud father of 2016 sort of statue that you're not necessarily gonna be able to make out the words, and the statue itself is going to be very, very look like it came from almost like a Beetlejuice kind of setting. You know, it's going to be very warped.
Okay.
So it's hard to kind of make out the details, but it is very clear that this person is somebody straight-backed and proper. In the shadow plane, it's not like people have auras that are easy to read and you can see their alignments or anything like that. But it is very clear that this person does not have much shadow over him. You know what I mean? Not like Thonk. Thonk, who is very much like coated in shadows around him. This person seems to stand as almost like a light. You can see that he is clearly somebody of significance in wherever area they are. You continue to listen?
No. I kind of like getting the gist of the shadow realm. Yeah, I just walk through the wall back outside.
Okay, sure. So you don't want to stay inside this area. You're actually going to continue walking through town?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to get back to you in a second. Going back to you, Mathis, what was the last thing said, please?
He basically told me the plan, like let them know about the gold, blah, blah, blah.
Thank you. And you were responding. Go ahead.
My response, I thought about it, and I'll look him in the eyes and just say, and why do you tell me of this plan?
It's your plan.
Wait, it's my plan?
You think that I need to solve the problem of the orcs?
I merely give you warning of the orcs, and I worry about what they could do.
Yes, and according to Otto, you are pretty worried to the point where maybe they shouldn't even be spared. I cannot do that. So this plan is to see whether or not they are worthy of sparing.
And what if they come in avoiding the vein and merely trying to take out the town instead?
It's not in the town. It's outside of it.
I'm aware. What if they find out about the vein as you planned them to and decide to remove all opposition for that vein before taking it for themselves?
My defenses have been in place for some time now. I have believed for this whole while that they should hold and that they should be able to handle 40 orcs. Now, as I've said to Otto, I understand that they are different from the typical orcs that I have encountered in the past. But that doesn't mean that I don't have faith in my men's abilities. So my defenses will still be in place. It'll be others that wouldn't necessarily be on duty at the time that'll be in the mine or future mine.
Doesn't sound like a terrible plan.
Tell me again what your stake in this is.
The livelihood of your citizens. Unnecessary death.
That doesn't seem to be the way of Grumsh. You worship Grumsh, do you not? And mind you, in this town, you've kept that hidden. You haven't said it outwardly one way or the other, I don't believe.
No, I haven't at all, actually. So the fact that he's just outright, like, saying that concerns me a little bit. I actually will narrow my eyes. And what makes you assume that?
A man of the cloth, so close to his kin.
And what makes you assume that latter?
You've spent a considerable amount of time with them.
I spent more time with a halfling and a tiefling than I have with the orcs.
You say you're a man of the cloth. What cloth do you serve? A clergyman of a particular faith can often be...
It seems you've
many
been doing
things can be
some research on me. I just want to know where you get this information, sir.
How do I know of you? You spend much time with my men.
And your men have no assumption as to who I worship. I've never
My men
spoken.
follow. I lead.
So what you're saying is you've been spying on me.
I'm saying I'm doing my job. I protect the city from dangers inside and out.
And you perceive me a danger.
I actually perceive you as a good man, but I need to prove myself right. I have made mistakes in the past, and when I make mistakes, sometimes lives are lost, and then I have to bear that on my shoulders until the day that I myself lose my own.
So what do you want out of me? I told you that I care about your men and unnecessary death.
It was a simple question.
If I did worship Grumsh, not all those who worship him do so in the style of the more full-blooded variety.
So you're averting the answer to the question because you do, but you do so from a different way.
Correct. How many?
Correct me if I'm wrong, because you are a clergyman of that faith, but Grumsh is all about rape and pillage, conquer, destroy, spread the will of the orcs.
Grumsh is what you perceive him to be, taking what's yours, claiming right to land that you perceive as yours. How many worshippers of my god have you met that also can read a goddamn book? I'd wager 0.
Very few worshippers of your god have I met off the battlefield, so I would wager 0 as well.
I have a vested interest in keeping Dark Arrow Keep out of war. I'd prefer it stay that way.
You believe the Dark Arrow Keep is the correct path?
I believe what they've done has been fantastic, and the legends sing their praises rightfully.
These 40 orcs, I don't know for a fact, but I believe the entire time. Are they in fact from Dark Arrow Keep?
I don't have that information exclusively.
You've been watching them closely for a long period of time.
Just because I've been watching them doesn't mean you haven't.
You visited Dark Arrow Keep and you know of what they've done.
I do, as have you.
The orcs of Dark Arrow Keep are not the same as the orcs of here. Now, I understand that it's not always easy to see the differences in different peoples, but are they not the same orcs that come from Dark Arrow Keep?
Have your guards not been following the same orcs that I have?
Not to the success that you have.
What does that mean?
They failed miserably in following them. We still have not found out where they're hiding.
And either
We've still not identified which ones are definitively theirs that come into our snow town, as it's been called.
I've not found where they've hidden either. I've merely followed them amongst the, what do you call it? I want to keep saying slums. It's a shantytown. Shantytown is the word I'm looking for. Shantytown. And you have to understand, me and my friends come from a faraway land. Many orcs look different here than they do where we live.
Fair enough. So you do not know definitively that they are of Dark Arrow Keep, that they are representatives of?
Correct. Perhaps they originated there and broke off, hearing of the riches to be found here, and just want to take what's theirs. Extremists of an extreme religion.
Okay, fine. Tell me this. What have you learned of them in all of your time watching them, beyond the fact that they are potentially a danger?
Uneducated. Vastly, grossly, wildly uneducated. Impulsive.
Have you seen their sword arm? Have you seen how good they are, their skill?
Only that one night. And it was a messy, dark night.
Were they trained?
Looks like they knew how to handle a weapon.
Handle a weapon like a typical orcish savage, or handle a weapon like a trained man?
Actually, out of game. Are they properly trained?
Yes, very much so. These are cut above other orcs.
Gotcha.
They're militaristic, on top of the fact that they are orcs.
Okay, gotcha. They fought more fiercely than I've seen any other orc fight. They made quick work of your men.
Damn. Very well. It's the plan. if they are not representatives of Dark Arrow Keep, how does their actions, altruistic or aggressive, how does that affect Dark Arrow Keep in any way? He says, seeming to come to a realization.
Just because they may not be a part of Dark Arrow Keep doesn't mean they definitely aren't part of Dark Arrow Keep.
Have their banners, but don't have their will.
It's possible. They could also be part of Dark Arrow Keep. I said I threw out merely a suggestion.
I understand. Shall I show you the mine?
How many others have seen this mine?
Very few, less than a dozen.
Nod. I'll stand up and kind of like gesture for him to lead the way.
He gets up and he does so. He does lead the way. He brings you over. You guys have to travel over about 2.5 hours on horseback to get to where this place is. And it is kind of embedded into a bit of a mountainside. Not a mountain, but like a cliffside. Like I'm going to say mountain, but it's like a rocky area. It's not an actual mountain. You know what I mean? But like a rocky area. And it's a cave that goes into, there's actually water that runs out of it. That makes it a little bit more difficult to navigate. But once you actually get past where they have clearly had like brush or whatever that was naturally there, and then they've also enhanced, blocking the way to get into it, you can see that there is a obvious cave complex inside here. But not just like, oh, okay, it's caverns that have naturally formed, which is totally true. But there's actually like a wooden bridge over one gap at one point in time and stuff like that. Like this place has been worked on. Again, you have a really high perception check, so it's pretty quick for you to realize that something like this wooden bridge was put here recently. Like this is old, like very old, whatever this place was. Seems like it was worked before, but probably a very, very long time ago. Either way, you go walking around. There are 2 guards immediately inside this place, and there are 3 others that are throughout the place. So a total of 5 guards that are in here protecting it, but there's nothing really in here. He walks you around the cavern and shows you the area where there is gold, and there is in fact a gold vein inside one area. A couple of like campfire areas set up so people can like light fire and like work and keep it lit inside there. Sleeping bag set up so people could sleep if they were working, but nothing's really being like worked on there, and you can see that the vein hasn't really been touched at all. But then he brings you over to another area, a more curious area, where kind of like the cave narrows out a little bit and climbs, and you have to squeeze for a moment, but you can get into an area where it seems to be, this is where the guards have kind of like held up, where they've been making their camp. There's supplies there, food, bed rolls, things like that. They're in a little campfire area. And when you kind of get back to the other side, you can see that there's clearly a boulder that easily rolls into the way of where it was that you just kind of squeezed through. You could easily like roll that in and out of the way, so this area wouldn't even necessarily be found by a casual observer. You'd have to go out of your way to find this, to find out where this place is. And you can also see that over in another area, there is another like stack of boulders that are put up. More surprising, that stack of boulders, because they don't even cover sight entirely. There's actually an emerald that sits on top of those boulders, just kind of like resting there. And the emerald has like if you were as fucking perceptive as you are with your like 832 perception passive, you wouldn't notice that the emerald has a slight constant shimmer to it that seems to come from one face. So it's like darker on one side and lighter on the other side. And when you go over there and kind of see the emerald and interact with it a little bit, because you have a passive investigation as well, because you're a douche, I gave it to you. So.
I was going to say, that's your decision.
You kind of like pass your hand in front of it really quickly. When you do so, you see the emerald, in modern terms, works like a projector. And it's actually projecting to the area where there is a bit of rock actually built up there to maybe about your shoulder height, chin height. The whole area looks like a solid cavern wall from this like projector that seems to be there from this little emerald that's kind of sitting on top of these rocks. Somehow magically this functions to do this, yay. But definitely if anybody were to ever go into that area and interact with the illusion that's there, they would touch your actual rock.
Okay. Gotcha.
Which seems to be nice. And so there seems to be 2 entrances into this little hidden area that's very large. I shouldn't say hidden, it's one of the largest cavern areas inside this cave. But this is where they're kind of held up, and he tells you that this is where the guards will be laying in wait should an attack be made. You guys kind of shore up your conversation. Do you have opinions of this, Mathis or Thump, or?
No, it's just useful information to have. Because right now the orcs, what's the orcs' plan? Because I thought the orcs' plan, I riled them to the point where they're just gonna fucking all out assault.
That is where they stand. However, he doesn't realize that.
Okay.
And he's trying to wave a carrot in front of them and kind of lead them with gold.
Okay, that's good for me as far as the orcs are concerned, because that means less of the guards are going to be in town when they assault. Okay, cool. Good to know.
Okay. So now he turns to you, before I pull the camera back away from you. He turns to you and he says, so, this vein, I'm sure they'll be interested, but I don't know how to get the word to them.
So is he looking at me, like, expectantly?
Mm-hmm.
I'll, like, give it a second, lock eyes with him, don't really say anything, and then kind of nod, like, slowly and assuredly, like, so you want me to be the one to tell them?
No.
Who?
Let's say we have this plan. You fed them the information, and it fails, and all my men die that day. They would know it was you that fed them the plan. You would be useless to whoever it is I leave in charge in my stead. You would no longer be able to benefit them because the orcs would be on to you. I cannot put you in a position where you would be compromised, because in compromising you, I compromise my city. So, how can I feed them this information and lure them here? I can't use Otto. He would be a piñata to them. Hit him and see what spills out.
So you want to use my other friend, Grommen?
I honestly forgot of him.
It's possible, but no offense to my friend, but maintaining information is not his strong suit.
Isn't that what best appeals to orcs?
But if you wish to lead them in a particular direction, Grommen would have to maintain that information for at least an hour.
You don't have children, do you?
Well, Grommen.
Very well, I'll use that as an example. If you want Grommen to accomplish a task that's a little bit more complex than he comprehends, do you tell him the task, or do you tell him what's needed to accomplish the task?
I know, I tell Otto the task.
Okay, you're circumventing my point.
You don't understand, Grommen.
I understand now why you wanted me to stay in the room. It's too late. It's too late.
I understand children.
I was really hoping Rye would just like appear.
Pop up.
And I was like, oh, it'd be so good. But then you left. I was like, no.
So he said, I understand children.
Okay.
I have my own, and I know what you need to do. We won't tell Grommen exactly what it is that he needs to do to accomplish this task. We won't put Grommen in danger either, because he shouldn't be put in danger's way. However, if bad word comes of Grommen, he can always lie low and avoid situations. It's not like necessarily his life would be put at risk. And then you would still be valuable to the city. You care about the way that orcs' lives work out. Is Grommen also a worshiper of Grumps? Does he care about the appeal of orcs to other societies?
Grommen is a wandering lost soul in the sea of deities.
You speak of Grommen like he's more of a hindrance than a friend.
No, Grommen is quite useful. And he's a good man. He's just not a smart man.
You could say that about many of those that fall under my commands, but you seem to have a tone to the way that you say it. Perhaps you should think about that. I think I'll use Grommen. He will be more willing to assist than me trying to grab a random pauper, and I think he'll appeal to them for his baser aspects and features. He says, trying to like grasp at ways of saying it not insulting, but
it's not
kind
insulting.
Of like
it's just
losing.
blunt.
Well, he's kind of like
I'll
losing.
wait till the day Grommen's like magical damage is healed.
Maggie, that day will never come. So
that day, it'll be the same day you get your bird back.
So he says that he says the my brain's not working. I'm sorry. 1 second. So he says that the like he says that kind of grass-fed ways of talking about Gromming in a not insulting way, but kind of struggling because you just insulted Gromming a bunch. But anyways, so and then with that he kind of like conversation for you guys, unless you have anything else to say, kind of trails off. Okay, and we're gonna pull the camera back over to Rye. What were you doing after you left that place? Because you were meandering around town, kind of like soaking it in.
So like it literally cuts to like an alleyway, and you don't see anyone in the alleyway. You just see a wall, and you see like a shadow start to materialize on the wall of like a girl, and then you see another shadow of like a wolf. And the wolf shadow slowly like forms a man, and you see Rye's hand like leaning against the wall, and they come out in an alleyway beside a tavern, and head inside to get some nourishment and some sleeps.
You knew that Simwick was going to head back out to that speakeasy tonight, Otto, but did you intend to, or did you intend to kind of let him do his own thing for a while?
No, I wanted to plant the seed.
Perfect. Were you playing tonight?
Oh yeah, I should probably play tonight. I haven't played in a while.
Roll me your performance check.
Yep. Boop. Hey, how about that?
Holy shit.
Sam, as you re-enter the material plane, the first thing that you hear, you heard noises, but they're muffled. They lacked color and flavor, right? But all of a sudden you come back, you are struck by God. Like every time you come back to the material plane, you realize like how much you've missed the beautiful colors and whatnot. God damn, I gotta close my window. So every time you come back to the material plane, it's so nice to get a cold breeze. It's only like 58 degrees right now. It's amazing. So every time you come back to the material plane, you realize how much you miss color and you miss sound and you miss taste and you missed all those wonderful things that exist here. But this time when you come back, the noise that you hear, the feelings that you get immediately upon returning, it's the first time ever that you actually almost regret having been in the shadow plane as much as you have prior. As a matter of fact, you come back to something so beautiful, I imagine that Rye's eyes well up as she starts to tear a little bit from the sound that's happening, from the performance that Otto's making. We're going to cut to our next break right now, but when we come back, we're going to have Bear describe for us what it is, the performance that he's doing, not in crazy detail, but the kind of performance that he's giving to us, that Rye is going to walk into the tavern to seeing, that Gromit is going to be there witnessing.
Yeah. You're going to see Gromit. The first scene you see is Gromit drink, like tears going into his drink, and then he's drinking it.
Okay.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Okay. Hard.
And on that note,
It's a song about the bird. It's called be.
I hope it is. I hope it's a song about the lost bird.
Gosh.
All right, guys, we'll be back in a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere.